Good afternoon, folks, and this ticker guy from sunny Florida again. Listen, an update on this Citigroup thing, this $12 billion. Listen, you have to love these guys, all right? I mean, you really do. Now we're starting to get a few more details. This is still rumor, remember, and then no 8K yet. Hey, you gotta wonder. When we'll get the 8K? Probably about 15 minutes after they report really crappy earnings. All right, listen, this is a Reuters article that came out last night. I did not get to it yesterday evening, was a little busy. Essentially what Citigroup is doing here is re-lending the money, but on different terms. And the rumor is they're backstopping 20% of it. So basically, what they're doing now is they're loaning the private equity people the money that they loaned them in the first place, but on slightly different terms, and are eating potentially 20% of the losses and giving it to them at 90 cents on the dollar. If this sounds like two people grabbing each other's wee-wees and playing circle jerk, that's because that's basically what it is. I don't understand the intelligence of this move from the bank's point of view. I understand the intelligence of the move from the private equity guy's point of view, in that, like I said in the original video, they get to take a nice little credit back against this. And if they had a 10% loss, they are now whole. The risk is, of course, if the businesses go down the toilet, these guys are going to get destroyed. Of course, the private equity guys are playing with your money and earning 2 and 20. So for the most part, they probably don't care all that much. If I was them, I would set up a separate LLC to do this, and they probably did. So, I'm not sure how exposed the base company really is. But here's the thing that I don't understand. From a standpoint of Citibank, this makes absolutely no sense. Not only are they giving away $1.2 billion, but in addition to that, it appears that they're taking a 20% risk on what's left. I don't get it. The only thing that makes any sense at all is if they're trying to essentially forge a mark on the remaining assets. But the problem with that is that if they're trying to essentially gerrymander a 90-cent mark on the rest of the stuff they have on their book, does that mean that everybody else gets it with them taking a 20% equity first loss position? That doesn't make any sense either, and I can't believe the auditors will allow them to get away with it without doing that. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Is that it sounds like they've got, they got it on their, they've got the equity position, they got the first loss, but they get rid of 80% of the risk off their balance sheet. So maybe that's the impetus to do this. It sounds to me like essentially what they're trying to do is delever the balance sheet, get a little bit of cash, and take down some of that so-called level 3 stuff that nobody can get a price on. In that regard, it may make some sense, but guys, if you think this means that it's over for them and that they're a great buy, no. We keep seeing this kind of thing. The real 900-pound gorilla in the room, folks, is the derivatives monster. And the bottom line here is that all of the stuff that's been wrapped by these CDSs, it is not worth what it's been claimed. We need to get to the bottom of this. Hopefully somebody in the government will eventually wake up and force these regulatory agencies to do the right thing. I'm going to have a longer video on this later on this evening, probably either a YouTube or maybe a Google video if it goes over YouTube's 10-minute limitation. But listen, guys, until we get some clarity on this and we know what the underlying credit quality is of all the instruments that are sitting on these bank balance sheets, I wouldn't buy any of them. For the record, I do have a synthetic short on the XLF. No position in Citigroup, no position in any other financials directly at this point in time. So to the extent that I'm talking my book, it is strictly against the broader index. There's no reason for me to either buy or short any of them here, because without being able to see underneath the kimono and see the underlying credit quality of these so-called assets, I don't know if they're buys or sells. And, it would be tempting to just short everything on the premise that since Goldman and everybody else seems to be increasing level 3 assets, that's bad. But until we know what the underlying credit quality is, you can't say that. So essentially what we have here is Citibank is playing games once again. The terms are still fluid, and I don't think that they've been finalized at this point in time. But listen, if you guys buy into this in the financials at this point in time, I think you're going to get hurt severely. I don't see anything here to suggest that there is a generational buy, as Dickie Bovine Bove has said. I wouldn't go anywhere near them at this point in time on either side. If you're going to play them at all, I would be on the short side using the XLF, using the broad index, and I would do it with defined risk, which means either puts or a vertical of some kind of spread. That's all I got for right now, guys. But listen, had to update this. This Citibank thing is just fascinating to me. That these guys are getting away with this and nobody's calling on them. Calling them on it is just outrageous. And yet, you don't see any honest reporting in the media, do you? Wonder why not. Have a good day.